Hello, it's David, and today is what is today? April 21st. It is April 21st. Uh, After somebody watched, we launched Dreaming with Entrepreneurs TV yesterday, and each day there will be at least one change to the three videos that are on the video players that are on those pages. One of the pages is Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. That's probably going to change every day. The second page is David's Baby Boomer Boot Camp, and that I may or may not um, do a new video. I may highlight an older video because there's a point that I want to really emphasize. And then the third media player, the third one down below, is for my legacy story. That was going to explode when it explodes, but I'm just starting to line up now. I've got verbal commitments to the first chapter one is mine, but six chapters after that I have uh, um, actually it's five chapters after that because chapter two is actually being displayed. It's a discussion I had with my cyberspace friend of 10 years, Barbara Weltman, and we had that discussion in either January or February. I have to look and see. But somebody was watching uh, David's Baby Boomer Boot Camp, and they watched the actual video. Then they went to the website, davidsbabyBoomerBootCamp.com, and they were reading, and they wanted me to explain something that I had on the website. So that's what I'm going to do today. I had created this chart, and it really explains big picture of what the things that we do, and really after we're done with it, you'll know why we do them. But it is actually senior exercise, and I call it cardiovascular training too. Let me explain that. Everything that we do will elevate our heart rate if we're moving. There's movement in our body. Somehow we will elevate our heart rate. The more we move it with the more resistance, the higher the heart rate will go. That's the basic way. So everything that we do has cardiovascular training element in it. But in my classes, my live classes, I actually spent up to 10 minutes, 10 or 11 minutes doing something specifically cardiovascular. In that case, it was an indoor cycling. People know it as spinning. I've been an indoor cycling instructor for 15 years now, and so I love the exercise. The exercise not only has it saved my life, it with an exercise routine that I developed in a 6 or 7 year period, I doubled the strength of my heart muscles, literally doubled it. The numbers show it. It's not a guess. My ejection fraction went from 30 danger level to 65 okay level. That's a little bit more than doubling. So I can't really do an indoor exercise as such with you. If you want to get good cardiovascular training, you can do it throughout the day. Walking steps is one of the best things that you can do. If you have an opportunity to jump in a swimming pool, the things that you can do in the water with water resistance, which is the most fun resistance to work with because it doesn't hurt that much. I don't spend enough time in the water. I wish I spent more time. I've had a couple times where I actually had something bothered me. I had knee surgery, meniscus surgery, and as a part of the rehab on it, I got in the water just on my own and just marched in the water, raising my knees as high as I can. And that really helped my knee to get stronger, helped develop the quad muscles, which I was amazed how they went from being very strong to zero after the surgery. So I had to build those back up. But I have gone through a lot of things with my heart. I was born with a defective heart that I did not know about until why did it do that? A defective heart that I did not know about until I was 43 years old. And so since age 43, I've had my heart, things done to my heart, I'm going to guess a dozen different times. And obviously they worked. I'm still here. But I really take cardiovascular training very seriously. As I said, it saved my life and helped me, actually also helps me to recover from surgeries pretty quickly. And all that stuff works together, but just constantly think what you can do to just move, get some movement going. Walking, as I said, walking up and down stairs. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a leg weight demonstration. Well, I'm going to do a leg weight exercise. We'll do half the exercise. It'll be seated, half standing. And I'm going to do that tomorrow. But if you add leg weights to whatever leg movement you're doing, that's better. It's going to strengthen muscles, help you tone muscles, help you improve your balance. Okay, so we're about senior exercise. Cardiovascular training is very important. You will hear me talk about resistance training a lot. That's what exercise also is about, resistance, because if you don't have resistance, you're wasting time and energy. If you are not working with the proper amount of resistance. And along the way, I talk about your resistance. Your resistance is going to be dramatically different than my resistance because we're different people. But the point is, you want to be able to work with as much resistance as your body will allow you to work with. Your body will tell you it's too much resistance, but believe me, it'll tell you. And then you have to listen to your body. Listen to your body for those signals. So resistance training is big, and we talk about it all the time. Endurance, all this stuff that we do, your endurance will become greater. There's no question about that. And that doesn't take really, you can build your endurance up a lot quicker than you can do some of the other things. Strengthen muscles, tone muscles. Endurance is something you can put your arms around, hands around, and really make it happen in a shorter amount of time. Time is relative. Perceived exertion chart. I do not use the perceived exertion chart too much, but it's an excellent chart that you should have an understanding, because it's you telling yourself, you are evaluating yourself, how hard you're working. And relative to how hard you're working, can you work harder? That's what perceived exertion is. So there's 10 different steps, 10 different levels. Number one, obviously, only good to go. The green is your first zone, yellow, second zone, orange. So 1, 2, and 3 are green, 4, 5, and 6 are yellow, 7 or 8 are orange, 9 or 10 are red. You know, I seem to, well, I'm going to look it up. The perceived existence chart might be in this book, and this book is available from the government, actually. I tried to get a bunch of them, but I was not successful. maybe we will try again. Okay, so number one is good to go. Very, very light intensity, very light. Then you move over into moderate intensity, yellow, more intense, and red is very intense. So you are then saying, okay, I'm at this level, I'm at my maximum, so I don't want to go any further. Or you might say, well, I think I've got a little bit left. Let me see if I can take it to the next level. That brings me back to a definition of boot camp. What makes it a boot camp? Most of the boot camps, I found this book, The Biggest Loser book boot camp. It was a very, very, outstanding book. They must have sold millions of copies, but I actually found it in the dollar store for $1. I paid for this. Anyway, as I was looking through the book, great things. This is a boot camp, but this is not a baby boomer boot camp. Believe me, it's maybe it's a millennial boot camp because I guess I'm just a big loser. I don't know. I couldn't do most of these things. I don't know if you can. Great if you can. But our boot camp is you finding your comfort zone. You know where that comfort zone is, and then mentally say, I'm going to take myself to the next level, whatever level that is. Only you know what that level is. So that's what makes it a boot camp, because you come out of your comfort zone and you try to go to the next level. So that's for you to decide where that's going to be. To that point, and I didn't know this was going to happen as I was putting together the videos for the boot camp, and I will obviously continue to do videos. We're going to do a couple a week. I didn't realize how important it was to take all of the elements of a 55, 60-minute exercise and break them down into, okay, for 10 minutes we do this, for 15 minutes we do this. So I have broken down the major exercise into segments. And if you look on the website, you'll see that, okay, if you only feel like working out 10 minutes and you want to work on upper body strength and muscle tone, you'll find a 10-minute exercise video for those 10 minutes. The other thing that it's the way I think, because it works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It has worked for me in the past. If your intent is to work out, if your goal is to work out 45 minutes, that could mean a 45-minute segment, or it could mean two 22.5-minute segments. The reason I say that is you might decide, well, I want to work it out. I want to do 20 minutes in the morning, and I want to do 20 minutes in the afternoon. And I'm saying that approach can be a very, very good one. I say that because when I was 31, 32, and 33, those 3 years, I ran 5 miles every day in the morning and 5 miles every evening, 5 miles in the evening, virtually every day. For sure 6 days, and the 7th day, we are supposed to give our body recovery time, and sometimes I did a good job on that. Sometimes I didn't do such a good job. But the concept is working in the morning, working in the evening. It's great to work it. And I have found this because I have taught classes, morning classes. I taught a class, not for seniors, but it was a cycling class that started at 5:30 in the morning because there were 10 people that wanted to come at 5:30 in the morning to do a class. So we did it. Now, a person that does a class at 5:30 in the morning or 6 in the morning or 8, early in the morning, whatever that means to you, that says that they're really serious and disciplined about exercising in the morning, because a morning exercise really prepares you for the rest of the day. It gets you going, it gets the mind going, all those things it's supposed to do. In the evening, that's not to say you shouldn't exercise in the evening. I have found over the years, whereas the folks that if they're in my class at 5:30, they have to get up around 4:30 to be there at 5:30, somewhere around that time. They're serious about it. The people that would come in at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when I was doing a cycling class, they were coming in for maybe stress release from the day, and that's perfectly fine and perfectly good. That's how it worked for them. That's how they got their workout. So I say the same. And if you want to work 40 minutes, think about doing 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. One reason why it's really good, if you do let's say a 45, 50-minute exercise, an hour exercise, there's going to be a point in that exercise where you have reached your maximum efficiency in terms of working out and doing your exercise. And you will hit that plateau, if you will, and then you start to get diminishing returns on the efficiency of that exercise for what you've done. So, and that's going to differ for everybody, but universally, they've typically said, if you work out at 75% of your heart rate for 45 minutes, it's a tough thing to do. It's a very, very tough thing to do. But if you can do it, you're going to have a great workout. You're going to have a fantastic workout. Because that factors in hitting that point where it's not you're going to start diminishing the return on the efficiency. Now you're going to burn calories faster at that point, but in terms of the exercise itself. So it's all a matter of figuring out what you want to do for yourself and what are your goals and objectives. Okay, let's talk about heart rate for a moment. That's what exercise is all about, is elevating your heart rate. Well, I take that back. Exercise is about elevating your heart rate. An important aspect about exercise is, and it's not so much the exercise itself, it's the condition of your heart. Once you reach your upper level of heart rate, how quickly can you drop your heart rate? That tells you how strong your heart really is. We can do a lot of different things, and we do to artificially elevate our heart rates. We can work with more. If you're on a bike, you can work with more resistance. If you're working with hand weights, adding more weight. If you're working with a resistance band, you can work with a thicker band to get maximum resistance. Those are the things that are going to help you elevate your heart rate. Anytime you do a change where you're doing something and then you make a change, typically there will be a little spike in your heart rate when you make that change, assuming, of course, that you stay physical and not drop back. Back is good. It is extremely important in the course of an exercise to elevate your heart rate and bring it back down. Now it might take you 45 minutes to get to where you want to go at the top of your heart rate, or you might go up and down. I recommend going up and down as many times as you can in an exercise, because that's what develops the strength of your heart muscle, that up and down of your heart rate, the change. I call it stressing your heart out. You've heard about a stress test. Stress your heart out. Trick it. Try to trick it. Try to take it out of its normalcy, and that's what is going to make your heart stronger. It works. Believe me, it works. So if you take 220 minus your age, I'm 71, so 220 minus 71 is 149. that means that theoretically, my highest heart rate, my maximum heart rate, where I become anaerobic is 149. Now, do I want to get to 149? Just to get there. Don't want to stay there too long. Can't stay there too long. Absolutely don't want to stay there too long. But to see what that is, there's no problem with doing it. Elevating your heart rate. Speaking of which, I'm going to digress for a moment. I'd like to digress for moments. All the things that you're going to see in David's Baby Boomer Boot Camp, kind of watch them and look at them before you do them, and discuss with your doctor, your primary care physician, exactly what you are going to be doing, or maybe your primary care physician will suggest a modification for you. Maybe not exactly how I did it, but there's a modified way to kind of achieve the same result. Just get there a little bit differently. So that's an issue I would really, really appreciate if you took it up with your primary care physician, just so the physician and you are comfortable with what it is you're going to do. And if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, so 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. If you can, you heard me say earlier, if you can stay at 75% of your maximum heart rate for 45 minutes, you're going to get a fantastic workout. So if you're up and down and close to that, I mean, the closer you are to that number, the better the experience is going to be in terms of your body, strengthening your muscles, toning your muscles, creating more endurance for yourself. I have to tell you too that as hard as I can work on a bike or just in floor exercise, I have a difficult time elevating my heart rate, for all the craziness that's been going on. But among other things, for my heart, I take blood pressure medication. Well, I wouldn't take it for anything else, but because of the condition of my heart or where it was, I take blood pressure medication. I have personally adjusted my own blood pressure medication based upon me just getting a cuff and seeing where my blood pressure was before I took a pill. If my blood pressure is okay, I don't want to take more medication to lower it, because I could lower it to a danger level. So you want to be very careful that you don't do that. I have a cuff in the other room, and I've always measured my blood pressure. I used to measure a couple times a day. I don't anymore because I kind of know where it is after all these years of doing it. So I don't do it anymore. I know that if I feel a certain way, it might mean that my blood pressure is too low or it's too high. But we try to. I try to monitor that and watch that. I listen to my body. Very simple. Actually, I can hear my heart valve because it's a mechanical heart valve. I can hear it open and close, so I really can listen to my heart. Okay, so that's the big picture. The things that we think about just in general. About exercise, specifically with the boot camp. As you've heard me say many times, number one priority is cardiovascular strength. Somehow, if you don't have the cardiovascular strength, most of the other stuff is not going to be that important. Balance. Number one reason that seniors showed up in emergency rooms was they fell, and that was an issue of balance. So every single routine that I do, I'm constantly mindful of what is this doing to increase my balance. And I'll show you some things that we can do to actually measure your balance. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow too, just to show you how to how to measure your balance. It's a little fun exercise. And every time routine, it's not really an exercise. Every time I do it, I kind of look around the room to see the folks that are doing it, the people in my class, to get their expressions and how they're getting into it. And it's I learn by watching them, things I should do and can do and should not do. So cardiovascular strength, balance, muscle strength. When we're working out with weights and resistance bands, whatever, uh, we will be working on our muscle strength. At the same time that we are working on our muscle strength, we are working on our muscle tone. Those things work together. And then something that isn't really emphasized enough, I've done it certainly, but I try to do it, and I try to do a better job with it, is to emphasize how important your skeletal alignment is. The more in line you are, the better you're going to feel. And there's no question about that. I've had a lot I've got arthritis. Well, a couple of years ago, I was having an X-ray for something else, and my doctor told me. He said at that time, Dave, you got a lot of arthritis in your body. And I said, well, occasionally I feel things, but I don't feel a lot of arthritis. What's that about? And he said, it's because you exercise that you're not feeling all the arthritis. So it's not that I exercise less now. Maybe I do a little bit, but I have had minor arthritic pain in my left knee, which was really bad. Ask some of the folks who were in my classes, and I haven't had much pain. Now I've made major lifestyle changes to try to deal with that pain, and they work. What I've changed is work because I don't have as much pain. We can talk about those things too. If you have any specific questions about that, ask me. In terms of asking me and the answer I give, I can only give you an answer based upon me personally asking the same question of myself, or doing it, or going through the routine, or whatever. I will not, if I'm uncomfortable with a question you ask because I can't give you a good answer, I will tell you how to get a good answer, or certainly a much better answer than I can give you. So I won't, and everybody's different. There are no, and the older we get, the more different we become. We all have the same kind of problems, but we all manifest them differently. So it's the sharing of that helps us improve ourselves, and meeting as a community to exercise. Great thing. Now, having said what I just said, obviously, well, now we're pretty much confined at this point in history. But when it's all up, should you exercise at home alone, watching videos, as probably all of us have done at some point in our lives? Well, that's totally up to you. What I will say, that exercising with a friend or exercising in a community makes the exercise experience much more pleasurable. That I can say. There is a real spirit of community in the folks that we've had a class 6 years ago. I started the class, and we're not exercising now because our as a class, because our YMCA is closed. But we look forward to coming to work out, but they knew there were going to be other people there with them. They could talk. And I don't have rules in my class. If you want to talk, one thing, if you want to dance in my class, oh my goodness, just go ahead and dance. Dancing is a great exercise for elevating your heart rate and getting body movement, improving your skeletal alignment. Dancing does it all. I guess dancing on the ground is equivalent to what can be done in the water, and the value that water is brings to the exercise experience. Okay, that's going to be it for today. So tomorrow, by the way, if you go to davidsbabyboomerbootcamp.com, I've got videos on all of this stuff, and I'm constantly making more videos and improving the videos, and so you can get there's a lot of videos there. Resistance band, we've done standing seated, we've done hand weights seated, hand weights standing, heavy hand weights as well as lighter hand weights. I find for myself, I work with a lot of weight standing and sitting, but when I'm moving, when I'm dancing with it, I find that I have to use lesser weight, or I'm going to tear my deltoids apart. Tomorrow, I'm going to do leg weights. I haven't done those yet on video. So leg weights will be seated, leg weights will be standing. I'm toying with the idea if I'm going to make 2 videos. I think I'm going to make 1 video and make it probably about a 20-minute routine. So there you are. Thank you for your time today. I hope you got some value out of our discussion. Let me know what you thought. And if you have a direct question, the easiest way to send me a question probably is to go to davidsbabyboomerbootcamp.com, our community boot camp. At the very bottom of the page, there's a contact us sheet, and I get those directly. And then there's a special place where they land in my inbox. So that's probably the easiest way, or you can text me or call me, whatever you want to do. Thank you for your time today. My name is David, and I'll see you the next time, which may very well be the best time. See you then.